to use my heart this way. My love for you. I'm still learning to use my heart this way. My love for you. Listen, baby, I'm still icy. Heart don't work cause my ex so shicey. Listen, baby, I'm still icy. Heart don't work cause my ex so shicey. Listen, baby, I'm still icy. Heart don't work cause my ex so shicey. Listen, baby, I'm still icy. Heart don't work cause my ex so shicey. Learning to use my heart this way. My love for you. Learning to use my heart this way. My love for you. Baby, I'm the Tin Man Iceman. I'm the Tin Man Iceman. I'm the Tin Man Iceman, baby. Baby, I'm the Tin Man Iceman. I'm the Tin Man Iceman. I'm the Tin Man Iceman, baby.
Hey, yo, this is your boy Post. You're now tuned in to hoodactionnews.com. So if you're just joining me, how's everybody doing today? Fantastic Fridays, whatever you want to call it, TGIF. So it's TGIF, and right off the back, the first story that I have is going to be Trump and Putin. So what's going on with the relationship between Trump and Putin? Now, Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin land in Alaska. Let's go right into it.
Trump do, given the threat of sanctions in recent weeks. We are seeing some movement there. President Trump there at the top of the stairs, Air Force One. Giving his trademark fist bump there at the top of the stairs. Now coming down the stairs, and we expect to see Vladimir Putin at about the same time emerge from the plane there as well. Again, you're watching ABC News live coverage of this historic summit. This is Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson in Anchorage, Alaska. Vladimir Putin just now emerging from the plane there and coming down the stairs. And again, we have not seen a summit, a meeting of this magnitude on American soil in more than a decade between an American president and Vladimir Putin. And in fact, the West, including the United States and Europe, had not communicated in person with Putin since the invasion of Ukraine more than 3 years ago. That war raging on, the fighting even in the last 24 hours. President Trump has made it very clear what he wants here is an immediate ceasefire. When asked if that's what he will get, the president has been very honest in these last couple of days, saying, I don't know what I'll get. He gave it a 25% chance of failure, but also said that he believes Vladimir Putin wants to make a deal here, that he wants to negotiate. The president was asked on his way on Air Force One, you've had a lot of phone calls with Putin, so what's the difference in a face-to-face and an in-person meeting? The president saying, no difference. He's a smart guy. He's been doing it for a long time. We get along. There's a good respect level on both sides, that he believes something will come of this. The president waiting there on the red carpet for Vladimir Putin. Applauding there as Vladimir Putin approaches the president of the United States. Of course, we remember the summit between these two leaders during President Trump's first term in Helsinki. They met, and now they meet again right here. The eyes of the world on this moment, particularly because Ukraine, the future of Ukraine, the future of that conflict, the war that has taken so many lives on both sides of the conflict, hangs in the balance here. We have been told that President Trump and Vladimir Putin will meet together. They will each have two high-level aides from their cabinets, their administrations in the room as well. So there'll be 6 people in the room, 3 and 3. Steve Witkoff, and there you see a flyover, the B-2 flyover. That was expected. And you can see the F-22s there and some of the cutaways from the cameras lining that red carpet. And there you have it. Obviously, you know what a photo op is, and that's the photo op. Still cameras there greeting these two leaders. That handshake now will be seen around the world, if not on live television, moments later across social media. You can hear the reporters trying.
President, how can the U.S. press your word? Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you, press.
The question was, how can the U.S. trust your word?
They got the press the hell up out of there. Say, you're not going to mess up my moment.
That question obviously posed to Vladimir Putin. Obviously, they did not engage. There will be a motorcade now that unfolds on their way to this summit. They are expected to show us at some point the two leaders meeting in that initial summit. What comes after that summit, we're told, is what they're calling a working lunch, a working session of some sort, during which there would be a larger delegation from both Russia and the United States, hammering out a number of issues here. But the president saying on his way to Anchorage that what he wants today, what he wants coming out of this summit, is a ceasefire. He wants it rapidly. He acknowledges, I don't know if I'm going to see it today, but I'm not going to be happy if it's not today. Ian Pannell, our chief foreign correspondent, he's live for us from Kyiv, Ukraine. And as we look at these two world leaders, we cannot forget, and you've interviewed them countless times, and so have I, when we brought the broadcast to Ukraine, the Ukrainian families who've been caught in the middle of all of this, who've wondered about the future of their country. Even the Ukrainians watching right here in America, many of whom relocated to Alaska, of all places, now watching Vladimir Putin arrive, President Trump's attempts to try to get a ceasefire unfold. We cannot forget the Ukrainian people caught in the middle here.
Yeah, very right, David. I mean, Ukrainians are watching, Ukrainians are hoping, but I think if you ask many people what they think of these images that we're looking at now, they will tell you that they feel sick to their stomach. Vladimir Putin is a man who has been charged with war crimes. His troops have been accused of carrying out sexual abuse, of murder, of occupying 20% of Ukrainian land, of wantonly destroying territory, of driving millions from their homes, of killing tens of thousands of people.
So I'm going to stop this for a quick question, right? Because they're going on a little rant, right? Now, let me ask you a question. Leave a comment in the chat. What president or dictator hasn't killed innocent people, right? So I'm not condoning Vladimir Putin's motion and his agenda, right? But in the same token, every president, every dictator to push their agenda has killed innocent people. You know what I mean? Especially in the United States, the Bushes, the Obamas, everybody has killed people to push their agenda. No sin is greater than the other sin.
And so, yes, they will not be happy.
Ian Pannell with us for our coverage. That's a remarkable scene right there. Vladimir Putin waving from inside the beast, as we call it, inside the President of the United States motorcade. John Carl, our chief Washington correspondent, watching this unfold, also with us here today. A remarkable moment, John, for Vladimir Putin to get into the car with the American president. Obviously a very sensitive a vehicle protecting the president of the United States. They will travel now to this summit together, it would appear.
I mean, Donald Trump, some will question whether he knows statecraft. He does, David, know stagecraft. That was a made-for-television moment, seeing him walk down one red carpet, greeting Putin, walking down another red carpet, and then getting into the presidential limo. There have been so many critics of this summit over the past several days saying, how could Donald Trump welcome Vladimir Putin to American soil? How could he give him the honor of meeting with an American president? They will no doubt have a similar reaction when they see that picture of a...
Listen, I can answer that. So you got, if you're the president, you have to negotiate with everybody. Like you have to, whether it be 1%, 50%, 100%, you have to negotiate with every single country. If you want to have peace in the United States, you got to negotiate with everybody. This is what a grown man would do. Now, I don't 100% like Trump, right? I don't like none of these dudes. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like Obama. I didn't like Bush. I damn sure didn't like Joe Biden, other than the fact he's from Pennsylvania. You have to negotiate. You have to negotiate.
Smiling Vladimir Putin in the seat there next to the president in the presidential limo. I can tell you this, though. Donald Trump sees it entirely differently. He sees this as he has brought the Russian president to American soil. This is a home game for Donald Trump. He has brought him to American land. He has done that flyover of the B-2 bomber, just like the B-2 bombers that took out the air campaign against the Iranian nuclear facility, walking by American firepower and getting into the most sensitive personal vehicle in America, the presidential limousine, and coming into that limousine. Donald Trump sees this as, you're on my turf here. I'm the president. I'm effectively the world leader, and let's go. It's just the stagecraft again. The stagecraft. It reminds me much of how he handled his meeting, especially the first meeting. He had two of them with Kim Jong-un. Another one. How could you meet with the North Korean dictator? How could you give him the honor of a meeting with the American president? I think Donald Trump looks at the critics and he says, look, I'm taking an entirely different approach. Your approach has failed.
Every world leader or president is the same. Everybody is the same. You know what I mean? Everybody is going to do what's best for their country, right? Now, to me, are most of these dudes going to hell? The answer is probably yes. So if you frame it like that, most of these world leaders and dictators are probably going to burn in hell anyway. You might as well negotiate.
Failed. I'm confident mine won't.
John Carl here on this wholly different approach from President Trump, the home field advantage, as John alludes to here, hoping that it will help in convincing Vladimir Putin that a ceasefire, and one very shortly, is really the only way to move forward here and to get President Zelensky to that table as well. The rhetoric coming from President Trump in recent weeks when it involves Russia and Vladimir Putin, some of the strongest, harshest, if you will, rhetoric towards Putin that I can remember in covering President Trump, both his first administration and now his second administration. I want to bring in our chief White House correspondent.
All right, I want to hear what they got to say. This is super liberal media. You know what I'm saying? Now, let me read the comments. Right. All world leaders have innocent blood on their hands. Oh, it has been It has been this way for thousands of years on Earth. Correct. So knowing that, why not negotiate? Because if it's name me a president of the United States that hasn't killed anybody in your lifetime. You know what I mean? So miss me with the fuzzy stuff. Now, when I hear a lot of now, I'm gonna give you my position. If you don't know my position, I'm an independent voter. I don't like none of you. I don't like Democrats or Republicans. Give me your best pitch so I can vote for you. That's basically my ideology. Give me your best pitch. Politicians are like children in show and tell. They want to win the pizza party, so they're going to tell you what you want to hear. So give me your best foot forward in your best position. Now, I'm going to go to some more live footage because right now, let me see. So let's go to some more footage. Let's go to some more footages. Go to the live footages. So the last time I checked, they were actually the summit that they're at in Alaska. They were actually setting it up. So let's see if they actually see how far along they actually got. So let me go to the summit. So preppy girls. I'm leaving. Let me see. I'm leaving what she said on the screen. This echoes the sentiment that I just had, that I just said. So it looks like they're setting it up, taking pictures. So they're setting everything up, taking pictures. Now, what will this act what will this mean for America? Right? Now, to me, if you can meet up, if Donald Trump actually, well, he just did, right? So Donald Trump meets and shakes hands with Vladimir Putin. This pretty much means that we will not be going to war with Russia. So, as much as you don't like Putin or Trump, this means at the moment we will not be going to war with Russia. So, all the different things, I've seen a lot of things online, a lot of things on YouTube saying that the United States is getting ready to enter war with Russia. So this means all you conspiracy theorists at the moment are super wrong. because these dudes are about to meet at this summit and they're there in person. So I don't think they're going to war, right? Now, we knew previously before that Donald Trump likes Putin. Now, if you don't know why, let me tell you the reason why Donald Trump likes Putin. In my opinion, Donald Trump likes any dictator, right? Donald Trump wants to be a dictator, but the United States law will not let him be a dictator, right? So anybody who runs their country with an iron hand, as long as you like Trump, he likes you. You know what I'm saying? So I think Donald Trump handles this business like, and like when you do business, I'm going to give you the same energy you give me, right? If you don't really give me the worst energy, man to man, now this is an important thing, man to man, right? To me, Kamala Harris wouldn't have been able to pull this off. I'm gonna just keep it a buck with you, right? Kamala Harris wouldn't have been able to pull this off at all. She wouldn't have even attempted to pull it off. So meeting man to man is important. You know what I'm saying? Like meeting people man to man is important. If I'm close enough to smack you, you know what I'm saying? I'm close enough to respect you, right? So you have to meet man to man. Xi Jinping, I might have said his Xi Jinping, I might have said his name wrong. The dictator for China met with Vladimir Putin and they ate strawberry crepes. Like, but just the fact you met up with me, I'm going to give, like, I respect that you actually met up with me, right? And that's the thing. Not talking about the streets, but if you actually meet up with somebody, it's more of a respectful thing if you meet up with somebody and shake their hand. I'm gonna be honest with you. Now, you may not like everything I've done, but if you want to move a foot forward, because I'm gonna be honest with you, if Vladimir Putin is not the dictator, let's just say this. The dictators after Vladimir Putin may be even worse than he is. So I'm gonna repeat that again. The dictators after Vladimir Putin may be 10 times worse than what Vladimir Putin is. And that's one thing y'all don't realize. You know what I mean? Now you probably might say it can't get any worse than what it actually is in Russia. But the dictators after Vladimir Putin could be 10 times worse. So when you're framing Trump actually meeting up with Vladimir Putin, you really had to tiptoe and be careful and get out of your feelings. So I'm gonna repeat that again. When you're looking at Donald Trump with Vladimir Putin, you really have to be careful and take small steps at it and get out of your feelings and look at what we can actually negotiate with Putin, because any world leader or dictator you meet is going to be a cold-blooded killer. So look at the United States. Damn near every CEO would stab their own mom in the back. So literally almost every CEO of every company in the United States is a grimy dude. Find me a CEO making millions of dollars that's not a grimy dude. Now, I'm just being honest with you. So you know that meeting with world leaders and dictators, you're dealing with a bunch of grimy dudes with guns. You know what I'm saying? And if they didn't have guns, they would have swords and spears. So I'm gonna be, this is caveman shit. Excuse my French. So it look like they actually, let me see, like they're all looking forward. This guy's mic is not on. So I'm gonna let this rock for a little bit because I really want to see this. Now you notice I'm leaving what preppy girl put on the screen. Because this will give you a frame of why this meeting between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin is very important. Now I'm leaving what preppy girl put on the screen.
It's a 3G, 4G phone. It'll work better. You don't have the adapter. Can't break it.
Now I do want to say this, right? For the people that you're in your feelings about a certain candidate and all of that, look at what's on the screen. Look at what this viewer commented on the screen. All world leaders have innocent blood on their hands. So who you won't negotiate with nobody. So if you stay in your feelings, you won't have negotiations with anybody. Because all world leaders and have now I'm not saying the way that Putin did it in Ukraine was right, but there's going to be winners and losers. There's going to be winners and losers in life. You know what I'm saying? Look at what's happening in Gaza, right? So it's going to be, whatever side you on is all diabolical. You know what I mean? But I want to see what the hell are these two about to talking about? That's what I want to see.
No.
Like, what are they actually eating? Like, would Vladimir Putin eat food in America? Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. The Democrats wouldn't have been able to pull this off. So if you're a Democrat, they would have been too much in their feelings to pull this off. And let me get into this. If you want, let me frame it like this. If you actually want a Democratic, give me 1 second. So give me 1 second. Let me frame it like this. If you actually want a Democratic president, right? That person that you choose has to be a one-upper. I'm gonna repeat that again. If you want a Democratic candidate, they have to be able to be a one-upper. If you're not a one-upper, you're not going to look better than the next president or the next person you're running against. Donald Trump, 100% is a one-upper. He wants to one-up you. Now, you can say he's narcissistic. We know that, right? So we know that he's narcissistic. Duh, right? But if you don't like Donald Trump and you're a liberal and you want to get the Democrats back in office, You have to have somebody that can one up people. You know what I'm saying? If you don't want to one up people, you're not gonna win. You know what I mean? You're not gonna be able to pull this off, is what I'm saying, right? So if you don't have that A-type personality, right, and you don't have the that one upper personality, you're not gonna be able to pull something off like this. You know, if you want to be frank, world leaders and dictators are not, they're not going to mess with you like that. They're gonna be like, no, I don't like him like that. You know what I mean? You know, they're gonna be like, he's not like that. You know what I mean? Now, our world now this is going to be a controversial topic. Are world leaders and dictators going to talk to women? No, not unless it's a woman, right? They're not going to want to talk to women, right? That handshake is not going to mean nothing. I'm gonna be honest with you, right? Now, this is the world, right? As much as you want to push that ideology to the rest of the world, it's not going to happen, right? The dictator after Vladimir Putin is going to be the same way. Everybody's going to be the same. You know what I mean? Now, you can negotiate with softer world leaders and dictators, but these hardcore countries like China and Russia that are probably going to be in the top 3 most powerful countries forever. Like you really need a dude to go in there and negotiate. I'm gonna be honest with you. You know what I mean? You know, y'all don't like that. You don't want to hear it, but you need a dude to go in there and negotiate. As much as y'all don't want to hear it. So you can't hear what this guy is saying right now. So the question is, what what is Trump and Putin talking about right now? Like what I'm really curious. Like, yo, leave a comment in the chat. What do you think Trump and Putin are actually talking about right now? Are they talking about cheeseburgers? Like, what are they talking about right now? Yeah, this is big potatoes right now. Now I got a couple more news stories. I don't think nothing is more important than this right now. I'm gonna be honest with you. Every single news outlet everywhere has this on the screen. So get your popcorn ready. Do whatever you got to do. So get your popcorn ready. Do whatever you got to do. Yeah, it's nothing more important. I'm sitting here. I'm looking for different news stories. Yeah, it's nothing more important than this right now. Absolutely not.
Mary Bruce, inside the room as we await a news conference, a joint news conference with President Trump and Vladimir Putin.
Yeah, I'm leaving this on the screen. So if you just joining in now, get your popcorn, baby. Get your popcorn. So I'm gonna give a shout out to Preppy Girl. She gave the perfect statement. If you look on the bottom of the screen, all world leaders have innocent blood on their hands. It's been that way for thousands of years on Earth. And I'm leaving that on the screen 100. To me, I think that Zelensky needs to come up off that land. You might need to at least come up off some of it. You might need to come up off that land. You know what I mean? At this moment in time, I think that Zelensky needs to come up off that land. At least some of it. Now, I'm gonna ask you a question, right? Do you think this is all the result of Zelensky not having a successful meet with Donald Trump when they met face to face? So I'm gonna repeat that again. Do you think this is all courtesy of the unsuccessful visit that Zelensky had with Donald Trump when they met in DC? Because that wasn't a successful visit, and it kind of looked like Trump was irritated. And then remember what Zelensky said. He said the same. He told us that the same thing is going to happen to the United States, and then Trump rebuked it. So remember that meeting that Zelensky had with Donald Trump was not a successful meeting. Zelensky said the same thing that happened in my country is going to happen to the United States. I was watching that when he said that. That was not if you want weapons from me, that wasn't the right thing to say. You know what I'm saying? If you wanted a piece of chewing gum from me, that wasn't the right thing to say. Let alone you want us to give you missiles. So I think a lot of y'all, you might have like temporary amnesia about what Zelensky actually said to Donald Trump. I remember it clean as day. Now, as much as Vance doesn't get like super aggressive, after Zelensky said that, JD Vance actually got very upset after Zelensky said that. I thought they were going to jump him. I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought they were going to jump him. I thought Donald Trump. Listen, I thought Donald Trump and Vance were going to jump Zelensky in the office, and I really had Trump about to smack him vibes. So, is that a result of this meeting? You think? But I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not gonna pull the wool over your eyes. We all know that Donald Trump just likes Vladimir Putin because he has total dictatorship, and that's where the respect comes from. Now, I'm just keeping it honest, right? I'm not saying that all of this is right, but I'm just cutting to the chase. Putin has total dictatorship. Donald Trump wants total dictatorship. I said dictator. I'm thinking of potato chips. I said dictatorship. I'm thinking about popcorn and potato chips. So Putin has total autonomy. Like, he's a dictator. Donald Trump wants this. You can't do that in the United States. So Donald Trump is always going to respect that. Kim Jong-il, he wants that type of autonomy here. You're not going to get it because it'll be a civil war. So Donald Trump, for the next 3 years, he's going to try to do that in the next 3 years. Now, y'all do know that this dude is only going to be here for 3 years, right? Now, another thing, Donald Trump is only going to be in office, 3 years, maybe less than that now, a little, I don't know. Now, this is about his legacy. That's what I want to say. So this is about Donald Trump's legacy. Maybe more than anything, this is about his legacy. He wants to say, "Oh, I bought Putin to American soil," right? But what president would want to? Who wouldn't want to say that? That's why, that's why I said, like, a lot of, you got Democrats and Republicans, right? Two different parties, right? Take the names away from the parties. Party A and Party B, right? If Party A is trying to show off, Party B has to get somebody to show off too. And that's my whole ideology, right? You have to have somebody that can challenge and show off as much as the first person. You have to have a one upper. You know what I'm saying? You gotta fight fire with fire. You ever hear that? You gotta fight fire with fire. You gotta get somebody that's a one upper. You know what I mean? Obama was a one upper. And a lot of people got mad when they were talking. They're one uppers. They secretly respect each other. You know what I'm saying? Now, out in the open, like now Obama's doing something out in the open, trying to challenge Trump, but they're both challenging each other's legacy. Both of them are one uppers. You know what I mean? So if you're a Democrat and you want to put somebody in office that can challenge Trump, you're gonna have to put somebody in there that's a one upper. That person, listen, who knows? That person is probably in a stroller right now for the Democratic Party. But you're gonna have to find them. And I think one of the main problems, you know what I'm saying, you're looking for her. So the Democratic Party is trying to find her. You know what I'm saying? And you might be bypassing the guy that's supposed to be in place. You know what I mean? Now that's a controversial topic, but it is what it is. Especially dealing with these world leaders and dictators.
Back in there, sir.
Now this is in Alaska. Obviously, this is in Alaska right now. Now it's mid-August, so I don't know if it's cold in Alaska yet.
Oh, the headset just came in. What?
Now, watching this build up, what do you think? So, what do you think Trump and Putin are talking about in the back? You know what I mean? Are they talking about soccer, football? What are they talking about in the back? I could tell you what they're talking about. I don't like Zelensky either. This is a listen. I'm gonna just be now. I'm gonna be honest with you. This is an I don't like Zelensky either meeting. That's what this is. How much you want to bet? So this is 100%. I don't like Zelensky either meeting. You know what I mean? No news outlet is going to say this now. This is hoodactionnews.com. But this is an I don't like Zelensky either meeting. So Donald Trump is not going to tell you, he's not going to say that. But behind closed doors, he's like, listen, I don't really like him either. What do you need from us? Lonnie, what's up, man? Hello, man. What's up, Lonnie? You ready for this press conference? So, Lonnie, I'm in Philadelphia. So Lonnie says, where are you from? I'm fresh out of Philadelphia.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States of America and the President of the Russian Federation.
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, our negotiations have been held in a constructive atmosphere of mutual respect. We had very thorough negotiations that were quite useful. I would like to thank once again my American counterpart for the proposal to travel out here to Alaska. It only makes sense that we've met here because our countries, though separated by the oceans, are close neighbors. So when we've met, when I came out of the plane and I've said, good afternoon, dear neighbor, very good to see you, in good health and to see you alive. I think that is very neighborly. And I think that's some kind words that we can say to each other. We're separated by the Strait of Bering, though there are 2 islands only between the Russian island and the US island. They're only 4 kilometers apart. We're close neighbors, and it's a fact. It's also important that Alaska has to do with our common heritage, common history between Russia and the US, and many positive events have to do with that territory. Still, there is tremendous cultural heritage back from the Russian America. For example, Orthodox churches and a lot of more than 700 geographical names of Russian origin. During the Second World War, it was here in Alaska that was the origin of the legendary air bridge for the supply of military aircraft and other equipment under the Lend-Lease program. It was a dangerous and treacherous route over the vast emptiness of ice. However, the pilots of both countries did everything to bring closer the victory. They risked their lives and they gave it all for the common victory. I was just in the city of Magadan in Russia, and there is a memorial there dedicated to the Russian and the US pilots. And there are 2 flags, the US flag and the Russian flag. And I know that here as well, there is such a memorial. There is a military burial place several kilometers away from here. The Soviet pilots that buried there who died during that dangerous mission. We're thankful to the citizens and the government of the U.S. for carefully taking care of their memory. I think that's very worthy and noble. We'll always remember other historical examples when our countries defeated common enemies together in the spirit of battle camaraderie and allyship that supported each other and facilitated each other. I'm sure that this heritage will help us rebuild and foster mutually beneficial and equal ties at this new stage, even during the hardest conditions. It is known that there have been no summits between Russia and the U.S. for 4 years, and that's a long time. This time was very hard for bilateral relations, and let's be frank, they've fallen to the lowest point since the Cold War. I think that's not benefiting our countries and the world as a whole. It is apparent that sooner or later, we have to amend the situation to move on from the confrontation to dialogue. And in this case, a personal meeting between the heads of state has been long overdue, naturally, under the condition of serious and painstaking work. And this work has been done in general. Me and President Trump have very good direct contact. We've spoken multiple times. We spoke frankly on the phone. And special envoy of the president, Mr. Witkoff, traveled out to Russia several times. Our advisors and heads of foreign ministries kept in touch all the time. And you know fully well that one of the central issues was the situation around Ukraine. We see the strive of the administration and President Trump personally to help facilitate the resolution of the Ukrainian conflict, and his strive to get to the crux of the matter, to understand this history, is precious. As I've said, the situation in Ukraine has to do with fundamental threats to our security. Moreover, we've always considered the Ukrainian nation, and I've said it multiple times, a brotherly nation, however strange it may sound in these conditions. We have the same roots, and everything that's happening is a tragedy for us, a terrible wound. Therefore, the country is sincerely interested in putting an end to it. At the same time, we're convinced that in order to make the settlement lasting and long-term, we need to eliminate all the primary roots, the primary causes of that conflict, and we've said it multiple times, to consider all legitimate concerns of Russia and to reinstate a just balance of security in Europe and in the world on the whole. And I agree with President Trump, as he has said today, that naturally security of Ukraine should be ensured as well. Naturally, we are prepared to work on that. I would like to hope that the agreement that we've reached together will help us bring closer that goal and will pave the path towards peace in Ukraine. We expect that Kiev and European capitals will perceive that constructively and that they won't throw a wrench in the works. They will not make any attempts to use some backroom dealings to conduct provocations to torpedo the nascent progress. Incidentally, when the new administration came to power, bilateral trade started to grow. It's still very symbolic. Still, we have a growth of 20%. As I've said, we have a lot of dimensions for joint work. It is clear that U.S. and Russian investment and business cooperation has tremendous potential. Russia and the U.S. can offer each other so much in trade, digital, high-tech, and in space exploration. We see that Arctic cooperation is also very possible. And our international context, for example, between the Far East of Russia and the West Coast of the U.S. Overall, it's very important for our countries to turn the page, to go back to cooperation. It is symbolic that not far away from here, the border between Russia and the U.S., there is a so-called international date line. I think you can step over literally from yesterday into tomorrow, and I hope that we'll succeed in that in political sphere. I would like to thank President Trump for our joint work, for the well-wishing and trustworthy tone of our conversation. It's important that both sides are result-oriented, and we see that the President of the U.S. has a very clear idea of what he would like to achieve. He sincerely cares cares about prosperity of his nation still understands that Russia has its own national interests. I expect that today's agreements will be the starting point, not only for the solution of the Ukrainian issue, but also will help us bring back business-like and pragmatic relations between Russia and the US. And in the end, I would like to add one more thing. I'd like to remind you that in 2022, during the last contact with the previous administration, I tried to convince my previous American colleague that the situation should not be brought to the point of no return when it would come to hostilities. And I said it quite directly back then that it's a big mistake. Today, when President Trump is saying that if he was the president back then, there will be no war. And I'm quite sure that it would indeed be so. I can confirm that. I think that overall, me and President Trump have built a very good business-like and trustworthy contact. And I have every reason to believe that moving down this path, we can come, and the sooner the better, to the end of the conflict in Ukraine. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. President. That was very profound. And I will say that I believe we had a very productive meeting. There were many, many points that we agreed on. Most of them, I would say, a couple of big ones that we haven't quite gotten there, but we've made some headway. So there's no deal until there's a deal. I will call up NATO in a little while. I will call up the various people that I think are appropriate. And I'll, of course, call up President Zelensky and tell him about today's meeting. It's ultimately up to them. They're going to have to agree with what Marco and Steve and some of the great people from the Trump administration who've come here, Scott and John Ratcliffe. Thank you very much. But we have some of our really great leaders. They've been doing a phenomenal job. We also have some tremendous Russian business representatives here. And I think, everybody wants to deal with us. We've become the hottest country anywhere in the world in a very short period of time. And we look forward to that. We look forward to dealing. We're going to try and get this over with. We really made some great progress today. I've always had a fantastic relationship with President Putin, with Vladimir. We had many tough meetings, good meetings. We were interfered with by the Russia hoax. That made it a little bit tougher to deal with, but he understood it. I think he's probably seen things like that during the course of his career. He's seen it all, but we had to put up with the Russia hoax. He knew it was a hoax, and I knew it was a hoax, but what was done was very criminal. But it made it harder for us to deal as a country in terms of the business and all of the things that we'd like to have dealt with. But we'll have a good chance when this is over. So just to put it very quickly, I'm going to start making a few phone calls and tell them what happened. But we had an extremely productive meeting, and many points were agreed to. There are just a very few that are left. Some are not that significant. One is probably the most significant, but we have a very good chance of getting there. We didn't get there, but we have a very good chance of getting there. I would like to thank President Putin and his entire team, who I know in many cases, other than that, whose faces I get to see all the time in the newspapers. You're almost as famous as the boss, but especially this one right over here. But we had some good meetings over the years, right? Good productive meetings over the years, and we hope to have that in the future. But let's do the most productive one right now. We're going to stop really 5, 6, 7,000, thousands of people a week from being killed, and President Putin wants to see that as much as I do. So again, Mr. President, I'd like to thank you very much, and we'll speak to you very soon and probably see you again very soon. Thank you very much, Vladimir.
Next time in Moscow.
Oh, that's an interesting one. I don't know. I'll get a little heat on that one, but I could see it possibly happening. Thank you very much, Vladimir. And thank you all. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So he put the heat on him. He said, next time you got to do it in Moscow. Now, I actually want to see. I want to hear what they're saying real fast.
Down, please, sir, down. Down, please, thank you.
They are moving the pool right now. They're rushing the pool out. All the cockroaches will be out because I can see them all moving. US pool.
Down.
So listen, remember what I said? I just said it moments ago. So let's keep this up. So remember what I said? I just said it moments ago. I said that Donald Trump, I said that whatever candidate from the United States challenges Donald Trump, you have to be a one-upper, right? Now, look at what Putin just did to Donald Trump. He challenged him. He said, now you have to meet in Moscow. So Putin wants to one-up Donald Trump. Now, we'll see if Donald Trump actually visits Moscow. Now, Donald Trump already went to North Korea. Let's see if Donald Trump will actually go to Moscow. I think he's going to do it. I think he's suicidal enough to do it. I'm going to be honest with you. Now, I said this earlier in this show. I said that whoever challenges Donald Trump, right? Now, this is for all you Democrats out there, right? If you want, instead of crying about Donald Trump, you have to find a candidate that is almost similar. I'm going to be honest with you. There's policies that you don't like from Donald Trump, obviously, but you have to find a candidate that's a one-upper like Donald Trump. And that's the key word. Putin just tried to one-up Donald Trump right there. I said this earlier in this show. I said that you need a candidate that's actually going to one-up Donald Trump. And it is what it is. Now, a lot of you are going to be in your feelings about that, but I'm going to be honest with you. You need to fight fire with fire. If the candidate is not a thorough enough candidate, not bragful, boastful, you need somebody with, long story short, you need somebody with some swagger. Like, if you send a dry candidate to challenge Donald Trump, it's not going to happen. Now, this dude is not going to be president after 3 years. So maybe it'll be a clean slate. And, you probably will have to run against Vance. Vance is kind of a dry, he's a good speaker, but kind of dry. So I'm going to be honest with you. After Donald Trump, it'll probably be a while for you get another candidate, like another personality like Donald Trump. I'm going to be honest with you. So you're going to go back to the same dry spoons that you used to. You know what I'm saying? Now, I hate to inform you, after Donald Trump is not president anymore, I don't think that a Democratic representative or a Republican representative or Democratic president or Republican president is going to give you the transparency. So I don't think from either party that you're going to get the transparency on Twitter. And so long story short, you're not going to know what either candidate is actually thinking after Donald Trump. I don't think the Republican candidate, you're not going to know what they have on their mind. the Democratic candidate, you're not going to know what they have on their mind. So I don't think either party are going to have transparent representatives. You know what I'm saying? So for a long time, you're probably not going to get anybody that's as transparent as Donald Trump. Love him or hate him, whatever you want to do, right? Now, he absolutely just won up Donald Trump. Now, I'm really super interested, and I'm really going to follow, is Donald Trump going to go to Moscow? Now, if Donald Trump goes to Moscow, Putin will respect him even more. So now this is just all of this is a testicle contest. I'm gonna be honest with you. This is a testicle contest to this is to see who has the most balls. Pause, right? So this is a contest to see who has balls and who doesn't. I'm gonna be honest with you. This is why the United States, you need a man running the United States. It's just that you have to match that energy. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. You have to match the energy. So Putin is matching energy right now. And I think that pretty much that's what Putin pretty much does. Now, when it comes to Ukraine, is Putin right? No. Now, if you go back in the history, if I'm not mistaken, Russia actually had that land before. So that the way that they're doing it by killing innocent people is what's wrong. But Russia wanting that land back, is that wrong? So you gotta kind of be objective right there. The way they're doing it, but I'm gonna be honest with you, all of these world leaders and dictators are killers. You know what I'm saying? And you're not going to tell me the last 6 presidents that we had. So anybody watching this in your lifetime, you're not going to tell me that the last presidents that we actually had didn't kill people. Because I sat and watched Obama drop bombs on Africa. I'm gonna be honest with you. For all you wokies out there, Obama dropped bombs on Africa, on Gaddafi. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't know. You know what I mean? Now, Gaddafi was actually killed by his own people, but we seen Obama dropping bombs on Africa, right? It's supposed to be for black people, dropping bombs on Africa. So all of these dudes are slick and sly. You know what I mean? But the most important thing, one of the most important takeaways of this whole thing is that if Putin can come on United States soil and they can kind of talk face to face, then we will not be going to war with Russia like all of y'all have been saying. All the conspiracy theories are saying we're going to war with Russia. Now, Donald Trump did this. Will he do this with Xi Jinping? Next is going to be Xi Jinping. Now, I don't know if Xi Jinping is going to have the balls to actually come to the United States and do this. But now the biggest test for Donald Trump is he going to go to Russia? I think he's going, right? Now, this is the thing. If anything happens to Donald Trump, and I want you to know this too, right? If an American president goes somewhere and something happens to him, we are automatically going to be in a war with that country. So I'll repeat that again. If an American president goes to another country and something happens to him, he gets killed. Let's just cut to the chase. If an American president goes to another country and gets killed, we by default we're going to be at war with that country. I'm gonna be honest with you. So Donald Trump is definitely psycho enough to go to Moscow. He might even wait till it gets cold outside and go to Moscow in the middle of the snow and put the Russian hat on and all of that. You know what I'm saying? And eat Oshkosh Kabosh and all of that. You know what I mean? So, yo, leave a comment below. What I'm going to do right now, I spent a good amount of time on this, right? I want to hear what what y'all had to say out there about this. So give me 1 second. So I'm going to put the link in the chat right now. I'm going to put the link in the chat. If you want to talk about this, click on the link and we can talk about it. So I'm going to put the link in the chat right now. So the link is in the chat. So the link is from StreamYard. It's in the chat. If you want to talk about this now live, we can actually talk about this now, right? Now, you could give me any perspective that you have. You could give me any perspective that you have. Now, I do want to move on. Now, we watched that for the last hour and 12 minutes, right? That was well worth it because, yo, if we have a war with Russia, that's World War III. So repeat that again. This was important, right? Especially to the younger people, right? If we have a war with Russia, anything that you're doing right now is not going to be like, it's not going to exist. I'm gonna be honest with you. If we have now, because if you have a war with Russia, you have a war with China too. So remember, these countries are closely knitted, right? Now, let me give you let me take this off the screen real fast. Give me 1 second. I do want to give you another perspective. If I'm actually if I'm the dictator of any of these countries, right? I'm thinking like this dude in another 4 years, we're gonna be dealing with another asshole. That's what I'm thinking. You know what I mean? So that's what I would be thinking. Another 4 years is gonna be somebody new in the United States. So let's stay on the Trump topic, right? Now we see what's going on in DC. Now they're actually suing Donald Trump for the military police takeover of Washington DC. So the city, I guess Washington DC is suing Donald Trump. Let's find out what's going on.
And the president's federal takeover of the nation's capital. DC's attorney general just issued a lawsuit against the Trump administration. He says the White House's actions are, quote, illegal, and the administration is, quote, abusing its temporary limited authority under law. CBS News Department of Justice reporter Jake Rosen has been following all of this closely for us and joins me to talk about it. So, Jake, what do we know about this lawsuit?
Well, it was filed this morning, Vlad, and it's a result of what Attorney General Pam Bondi and the Trump administration did last night. Was kind of after being given an inch by getting control
of the
Metropolitan Police Department for the next 25 days or so, they've gone to try to take the mile, which is using the Metropolitan Police Force to conduct immigration raids throughout the city.
So these unlawful inserts of authority will create immediate, divesting, and irreparable harms for the district. Most critically, Most critically, the order. Let me see. Oh, most critically, the order threatens the upends. Oh, threatens to upend common structure. Let me see. MP. Okay. I can't see this on my screen. Okay. I see it. Now I'm trying to see what's in that small writing right there. How do y'all feel about this? I'm gonna leave this on the screen. So how do you feel about this? To me, it's a yes and it's a no, right? Now, this is what they have a problem with. This is what Democrats have a problem with Donald Trump, right? Now I'm saying Democrats because right now Donald Trump is the president. All of this is to stop what he's trying to do. And I'm probably 50-50 in on this topic right here. Now, it's just certain things. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really have no problem on what Donald Trump is doing yet. I don't have a problem yet because I don't see the outcome of what he's doing yet, right? Now, the outcome of what Donald Trump is doing in DC it's a mystery. We don't know the outcome of what's going to happen. Now, what we do know is they've been locking people up. So they've been locking a lot of criminals up during this takeover, if you want to call it a takeover of the military police in DC. But to me, it's a long-term thing. What could Donald Trump do long-term? It probably nothing. Short-term, he could do what he just did. So if you look at long-term and short-term of what Donald Trump could have did in DC, I don't think that there was nothing long-term that Donald Trump could have did in DC. But for the short term, he sent in the troops. Like, what are you going to do? Now, I'm in Philadelphia. You probably need the whole army to come in Philadelphia. I'm going to be honest with you. Just one block, you probably need the whole army to be on. Kensington Avenue in Philadelphia. I want to make this a Philly thing, but Kensington Avenue, you might need the whole National Guard just for Kensington Avenue. Now, it says unlawful insertions of authority. So, to me, the Democratic Party, you have a problem with insertions of authority. You're in your feelings, right? In this case, people in the administration got robbed. So, I mean, look at it like that. I got an administration, people I'm working with are getting robbed. I definitely want to do anything I can about it. What else could Donald Trump do? Just let it pass over, right? Now, long term, he probably maybe could have did something to work with the DC Police Department and coming up with an aggressive strategy to take criminals off the streets, more technology, maybe implement all the robots that are coming up. But that's a long-term strategy. Short-term, this dude is only the president for 3 years. So I don't know. I might have did the same thing. I might have, just go in there and get the criminals off the street. I'm gonna be honest with you. What more could you do but go in there and get the criminals off the street? Like I said, I'm in Philly. Like they're robbing Brinks trucks like they're stealing cakes out of store. You know what I mean? So I don't know. What more can you do but what he's doing? They just don't like him. That's what I see when I see this, right? And like I said, I'm not the biggest Donald Trump fan, but this right here, I don't know. Now, the one problem I could see with this is that you're basically saying that the DC police aren't doing their jobs. So I'm repeat that again. By doing this, you're basically jumping over the DC police. You're just jumping over their heads and saying that they're not doing a good enough job by doing this. But I did see the DC police actually working with these federal workers. So maybe they should have kind of linked everybody together first, did some type of press conference where you got the way you do stuff is everything. This is what I would have did if I was Donald Trump, right? Because everything's politics. If I was Donald Trump, this is what I would have did. I would have linked the police in DC with the federal police. Like I would have had a meeting, had all of them in there saying that everybody's all going to work together, right? So you got the optics that you actually united everybody together to fight crime. Then I would have sent the National Guard and everybody in there. So I would have pulled everybody together first, had a press conference so you can have better optics. Because, like, I'm gonna give you an example. What he just did with Putin was for optics. So I would have did the same thing with the military, police, and the local DC police. Put everybody all together, have a big old fake press conference with ham sandwiches and Kool-Aid. Whatever they serve, right? Punch, fondue, whatever you got, right? Or Subway sandwiches. Hate to give Subway a plug, right? But I would have got some Subway. Listen, that's what I would have did. That's what I would have did. So I'm gonna give you a strategy I would have did, right? After that dude threw that Subway sandwich, I would have had a big meeting with the military police and the local DC police. And I would have gave everybody Subway sandwiches and said, we're all going to work together and eat Subway meatballs. How about that? You like my strategy, don't you? Leave a comment below if you like my strategy. Put me in the White House. You know what I mean? Now, was it unlawful? I don't know. Have you ever seen this before? Now, this is all the conspiracy theories, right? I don't really want to talk about them right now, but martial law, everybody's saying martial law, martial law, martial law, right? I do agree. I'm like, damn, what are you going to do next? Are you trying to get martial law? Because when you see a military takeover of cities, the first thing you think about a movie, you think about martial law, you think about Demolition Man, the movie. What other movie? Like Mad Max, when the government, tries to take over. Mad Max is like beyond martial law. Mad Max is like a nuclear bomb hit the world and it's just, you know what I'm saying? But what do you see? Like, what do y'all think? What do you think? I actually think that now you got the Democratic part, you got Democrats and Republicans. Republicans are in office, right? It's about Donald Trump's legacy. He's trying to get stuff done. But in this case, who am I going to side with in this? I'm not really, yeah. In this case, I think that Democrats have to fight against Donald Trump. So it's like a thing where they just want to be contrarians. You know what I'm saying? I think Democrats want to be like, if I go up, they're going to go down on purpose. You know what I'm saying? If I move left, they're going to move right. You know what I'm saying? They got to fight anything he does. So I really think that So let me take a so it says this is Preppy Girl. I'm originally from Camden, New Jersey. I remember when state police and National Guards came into Camden and cleaned up our streets and neighborhoods. So yeah, because she is right, because Camden was like, they called Camden Little Nam. So I'm in Philly because I remember them calling Camden Little Nam. This is like when I was in high school, they were calling Camden Little Nam. You know what I mean? So history repeats itself. They actually did that in Camden, New Jersey before. So Camden, New Jersey, it was drugs. It was, if you want to say, cartels, gangs. It was all type of stuff going on in Camden, New Jersey. This little place in South Jersey. I remember they sent in the National Guard. I remember that. So it's a temporary thing. So I believe that what Donald Trump is doing will work if it's temporary. Look at what she just said. It gives the evidence of it will work temporary. Now, if he's trying to implement this as a long-term strategy, I think that's going to cause some type of problems, because you already got dirty cops. Imagine dirty military cops. You know what I'm saying? That's not going to go good. That's not going to go good. Who the hell do you call the cops on? You know what I mean? For do you call the regular police on them? I think that's what'll happen too. Like the regular police, just say if you got a dirty military cop, you have to call the regular police on them. So that'll be an inner struggle too. So that's why it might not be a good idea, because the regular cops are going to be fighting against the military cops. Then that's going to be a thing. So I don't know. It's too much of a struggle. You know what I mean? And you're not going to tell me that the regular cops are going to have some type of animosity towards the military police. You know what I mean? Then it's going to be a tug of war. It's going to be a chess hair contest between the regular cops and the military cops. So short term, yes. So this Donald Trump strategy is short term. It's not a long term thing. So this is my conclusion about Donald Trump. I mean, it's not a one-off, but short term, I think what he's doing will work short term, but as a long-term strategy, I don't think it's going to work. You know, that's my opinion. I don't know if that's going to work long term, Donald. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to work. But like I said, I appreciate you, Preppy Girl. Definitely, I definitely remember that. Because Camden, they literally called Camden, New Jersey, Little Nam. So you compare DC to Camden, New Jersey. They sent in the National Guard to clean that up, even though DC is way bigger. And then they called that Little Nam. I remember that. And that's local too. I remember that myself. You know what I'm saying? But temporary, like, I don't think it's a good long-term strategy. It's a temporary strategy that will work, that probably will work by Donald Trump. But that's definitely a good, definitely good. Now, I want to look at this last thing, right? I'm not going to go into the crime news. We kind of did our politic thing today, but this is also politics. I want to take a look at this. So Democrats have been fighting Donald Trump against ICE, right? Now, it says man dies running apart from bus the way they worded this. This is so man dies running from ICE in LA Home Depot. That's what they should have put. So man dies running from ICE in LA Home Depot. So let's find out.
Mario Ramirez at Fox 11 LA joining us now live with what we know about the situation and what's still left to figure out. Mario, thanks so much for being here. What do we know?
Josh, good morning to you. That chain of events leading to a tragedy here. Still some unanswered questions. We're in the city of Monrovia. It's about 25 miles northeast of the metro LA area. And this Home Depot here behind me, the latest target of immigration enforcement. It was during an ICE operation here yesterday. Witnesses say a man, a day laborer, was seen running through the parking lot right through Evergreen Avenue there and onto the freeway, the 210 freeway, where he was struck. Witnesses say that man was yelling for help at passing vehicles before he was hit. And we have video here capturing the shocking scene moments after it happened. Monrovia city officials confirm that man was hit on the 210 freeway as he was fleeing from an ICE operation here at the Home Depot just before 10 a.m. yesterday. Now, the California Highway Patrol says he was rushed to a hospital, but unfortunately didn't survive. Meanwhile, Homeland Security officials insist the man was not being chased, and they say they didn't know about his death until hours later after the operation wrapped up. But this tragedy sparking outrage and a demonstration here at the Home Depot with protesters calling that official account into question and calling for an end to these immigration raids, with some also claiming another man was hit by an ICE vehicle during that operation here yesterday. Now, those protesters say the federal agent should be held accountable for that man's death. And we know that ICE enforcement operations began on June 6th here locally. Last month, a federal judge issued a temporary restraining order preventing the government from detaining people based on racial profiling without access to legal counsel. And after being shut down by the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, the federal government has now appealed the issue to the U.S. Supreme Court, while ICE raids have only increased. Now, if we come back out to our live shot here at this Home Depot, witnesses say at least 10 people, 10 men, were seen being taken into custody. And we now know there's a vigil being planned here just outside the Home Depot later today at 5:30 for that man who was killed, struck on the nearby freeway here yesterday morning. For now, that's the latest in Monrovia. I'm Mario Ramirez. Josh, back to you.
So let me tell you how I feel about this. The thing that I don't like about these ICE raids, right? So, you do have to come to the country legally, right? We know that, right? Now, the people that are here illegally, right? The thing I don't understand, right? Now, Donald Trump is for businesses, right? So why would you have these ICE officers go and disrupt and give negative publicity to these businesses? Now, the only conclusion I can come up, because I mean Home Depot is big box, right? It's Home Depot, you know what I mean? You got Lowe's and Home Depot. Now, the only thing I can think of is, him not liking Home Depot because they actually let them work there. So maybe he's trying to expose the companies that are making money off the back of illegal aliens, right? But it's really a touchy situation, because you can probably, like, if you're going to lock them up, like, wait till they get off work and lock them up the street somewhere. That's what I'm saying. Like, if I own Home Depot, right? Or even if I'm a manager there, I'm like, yo, could you not do this here? Like, could you do this somewhere else? Now, I don't know if they're going to be, I don't know legally. Like, this man was running from the ICE agents. So I don't know. He got hit by a car. I don't know if they're going to be able to sue or that type of thing. Now, they can probably protest this, as you know, they already were doing, because I just showed it in the video. But as a whole, this immigration thing, because now this is how I feel about the immigration thing. You need to get, I can't go to Thailand or any other country without having a visa You know what I'm saying? So people from the United States, we can't go to any other country illegally. You know what I'm saying? They'll throw you in a clay cell with rats and roaches and feed you worms. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't go to another country illegally. So it should be the reciprocal to come to the United States. Now, if you got to do your ICE job, do it away from the businesses. I don't know why they're just running up in businesses. Like, I'm gonna give you an example. I did a report on an H Mark in Philly, right? H Mark is a Korean market in Philadelphia. ICE agents ran in there while one of my family members was in there. So I had a family member shopping in H Mart, right? Because the Korean market's got fresh vegetables and fruits. So I had a family member going in there to get some fruit or whatever they went to go get. And ICE ran up in there while my family member was in there. Now, when you're doing that, you're basically putting like innocent people in danger because you don't know how the people you're going to get are going to react to you trying to lock them up. So I repeat that again. You don't know how, when the ICE agents raid these businesses, you don't know how the people you're going to get are going to react, and you're putting the regular public in danger. So that's the only thing. You're putting the public in danger. You're running up and imagine you send your grandma, imagine your grandma's in Home Depot buying a plunger. And then ICE agents just run up in there, and then you got people scattering, trying to run from the ICE agents, pulling out pocket knives. Like, you don't know you don't know somebody's reaction to you coming for them to lock them up and send them to another country. So I do agree there has to be a different approach. This is right at Home Depot. Now, if you could just run up in Home Depot, like, why can't you just wait for everybody to get to work? Everybody has to get off work. Wait for them to shut the store down, then get them. You know what I mean? They're running up in there while they might be at the register ringing up, and they just running up in there getting them. So there has to be a different strategy within ICE. They got to come up with a different strategy, and that's what I want to say about that. Now, this is your boy Post. I'm fresh out of Philadelphia. We talked about politics today. I'm definitely probably going to have, by Monday, it's going to be so much news to talk about. I may do a one-off topic tomorrow. We'll see what happens. But listen, make sure you like, share, subscribe, support the channel. And if you actually want to talk about something, you can hop in the chat and let me know, because I definitely appreciate the lady that was commenting. I'm gonna put her back up. Definitely appreciate your comments, because this right here, this comment right here from Preppy Girl, this 100, I'm gonna give a shout out to her, because this 100%ly correlated to what's going on in DC now. This is history. This is history right here, right? They sent in the National Guard in Camden, New Jersey. Camden was bad. Now, I believe this is during the crack era or a little bit right after. But they called Camden, New Jersey was little Vietnam. It was so bad over there. And they sent in the National Guard to clean it up. It's a small little neighborhood area, but they cleaned it up. But they got a bigger job with DC. You know what I'm saying? Because all the trappers used to come from DC. So it's grandfathered in DC. So they got an uphill battle in DC. But listen, make sure, like I said, like, share, subscribe. You can go to hoodactionnews.com. I'm going to post this on the website. Subscribe. It's your boy Post. I'm out.